start. Round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Prix for life at the minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. And here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malou wins here in Baku. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the World Racing Championship. It is good to be back then for the Tuesday division, where we find ourselves here for the 5th round of the season 3 that it is, and we're here in Qatar for the Qatar Grand Prix. Short qualifying first of all, then your race intro, then into the main 50% race, and then of course we will have some post-race interviews as well with the top 3 drivers this evening. But hopefully you're all doing well. Formula Eagle in the chat, who was of course that pro gamer. Good to see you, mate. Welcome in. And I believe a few more in the WRC chat tonight as well. But very nice to be back. A lot of WRC for me recently, of course, as I commentated on the Sunday night for them. And now Humboldt over the line, a 1:22.3 sets the first time of the afternoon, quickly followed by Romeo Blues then, just behind him, and then Lucas in 3rd. I have been told down in 19, the Mercedes, I've always said Lot, it is Lot Phi or Lot Phi. I'm not entirely sure which one to say, but I've been told to say it better, so I will do. The 2 Kicks Albers then, currently the quickest drivers at the top of the board. Then Matt Connor splits them up in the early stages, a 1:22.436. Now more drivers across the line. Milk as well in P6 at the minute. Jay says he's not racing. He despises Qatar. I think it's quite a good track. The only issue with it is it's so high, fast-paced. There's not much overtaking opportunities, in my opinion, which is a bit of a shame. Formula Eagle, how did you know it was me? Because you messaged me, mate. You told me that you changed it. Well, no, I've seen the announcement. But anyway, Humboldt then the quickest driver as of now. It's Matt Connor 2nd place. We've got Hoare in 3. Great name, anyway. Mad Mark as well in the chat again. Good to see you, Mad Mark. Glad you're joining us again this evening. Great chat with some great drivers. I absolutely agree. What a track it is. I was just saying to Jay, of course, the overtaking opportunities aren't incredible, but the track itself is quite a fun one. Indeed. It's Ferrari for life, the quickest driver now as Sidemen slots into 2nd place. But the McLaren, of course, is the reigning world champion of Season 2. Now we're in Season 3, and actually we're getting through it really, really quickly now as Milk across the line. He's into the 121s as well. It's a 121.281, and the Williams now is the quickest driver ahead of Ferrari for life. Puts about a 1/10.5 between them at this moment in time. Jay says he prefers Abu Dhabi or even Hungary. Hungary is a shout. We don't really race there very often anymore. But Abu Dhabi for me always has to be the final round of the season. It's such a good track for the final round. I don't know if any of you are around for my Christmas race as well. We did last year in December when we gave away £175. That was of course Abu Dhabi, and it is always good fun to do events like that in Abu Dhabi. What a track it is. Formula Eagle, I think it's great, mate. I think it's a really, really good change for you. Hopefully it goes well. But we are currently 11.5 minutes in of your qualifying session. 11 drivers have set times on the board. We have a full grid this evening, by the way. And at the moment, we've got about half that haven't set a time yet. But there are many of them on outlaps and preparing to go round for their first lap of the day. Andy J. Price in P16. He's on an outlap, as well as Maloon and Zumi and Samulto as well. Blake's currently on a lap, I believe, here on a hot lap, making his way around. He's actually invalidated this lap, so will be either into the pit lane or he's going to go round again, but it's looking like into the pit lane it is. Who honestly decided that Monaco is the final for Wednesday? Oh, I could never do final Monaco. Oh, no. As Malone with a 5-place grid penalty, I believe that was. Ollie Southall says, Haas need good points. Well, the Haas drivers, of course, of F1 Mikey Boy and Ollie Southall. And that's a strong team. It really is. Both drivers tend to be up there quite a lot then in this league. And I'm going to quickly have a look then at the previous finishing results, just so we can get a grasp of what is going on in the World Championship at the minute. It's something that isn't talked about a lot in the early stages, but of course as time goes on, you know, then it does get spoken about. But Tuesday standings then, at the minute, the Drivers' Championship standings, if I can get it up. Hang on a moment. There we go, Drivers' Championship standings. Danny currently is your championship leader. It is Danny 1 on 122 points. Behind him is MCL in second place, and he's on 74 points. The gap is pretty large between 1 and 2 at the moment, with F1 Mikey Boy closely in third on 68. Then it's Maloon in 66, Andy J. Price 65. The championship between second place and, you know, probably down to P8. I mean, even further than that, it is so tight. It is really, really tight. And getting into this season now, it's going to be ever so more important for the drivers to be finishing these races now and picking up, you know, as much points as they physically can. The Haas team at the moment on 94 points of F1 Mikey Boy and Ollie Southall, as we're speaking about. I believe they are 6th in the World Championship. By the looks of it, yeah, they are 6th in the championship following the Las Vegas Grand Prix of round 4. Jay says the F2 standings are really tight right now. I don't think I have access to them, but you have to let me know. What are we talking? How tight is it? But yeah, for Tuesday, guys, it is looking really, really close. And going into this race, like I mentioned, it's going to get ever so more important for the drivers to be finishing now. We're getting into, you know, halfway through this season, and the drivers need to be on their absolute best for these next few rounds. Milk then currently on provisional pole, and we haven't seen him take a win in an actual league race for a little while. It would be good to see him do well tonight. He did really well on the Sunday for the one-off race we did here for the World Racing Championship, but he's here today, of course, on pole by about half a tenth of a second there, pretty much, between them, which is very nice indeed for him. But can he hold it is the question, as we still have a few minutes of this qualifying session to go. Yeah, Formula Eagle, I really did. You tricked me on the video. 15 points between the top 3 so far. Wow. Blake, no worries. That is really tight, really, really tight indeed. Well, we have a yellow flag in the middle sector, and there's an Alpine heading slowly as we look to the final corner. We're going to try and catch some lap times now. We've had a fastest first sector then for F1 Mikey Boy. It is a 10th up on this lap around at the moment. The Haas driver has got his teammate moving out of the way as he flies through now and into the second sector and making his way through. Let's see if this is going to be a better lap time for him. Currently 5th position, a 121.8, and a few tenths of a second between him and 4th position here. He's well on for a second row of the grid, and even the front row of the grid, if he really gets his head down. But he is only up now by 600ths of a second, which at the minute isn't ideal. Needs to be finding a little bit more time than that then, if he wants to gain some places. As the Williams then, he flies past him, who was just sitting on the gravel. And now Mikey Boy around the final corner then, here in qualifying. What is this going to be for him? The Haas driver, currently 6th in the World Championship, this team is. He crosses the line, 500ths of a second improvement, but still not enough there to gain on the guys in front. And this does really just show you, in terms of qualifying pace for the drivers, how far this league has progressed since that first round in Season 1. Because F1 Mikey Boy, he was winning most of it. He was up there all the time on the front row of the grid. And, you know, absolutely outperforming everybody. This just shows you the way this league is progressing. There's 5 other people in front of him, And Ferrari for life now, back onto provisional pole in the McLaren. A tenth, nearly 2/10 improvement for him. They're 1:21.228 now. Here in qualifying, he's the quickest driver at the moment then, with only a few minutes remaining for the McLaren and everybody else. Milk then second place, Samulto third, Nova Piper in 4, Maloons 5, Danny 6, and F1 Mikey Boy all the way down to 7th place at the minute. But as I was saying, the progression of the league is incredible. Many people in front of him now who are, improving, and there's so much. I mean, the overall pace of the league is what I'm trying to say. It's just improved massively to have Mikey down in 7. However, I have to admit, his race pace and race craft does beat many drivers here. He is very good in the Grand Prix. Does tend to make himself the places back up if he loses any, which is always good. As we're going to look through the pack now, see we've got Zoomies on an outlap, and won't be long before he starts his flying lap. It's pretty quiet on the circuit at the moment, but we do have only a few minutes left, and won't be long before we get the whole lot of the drivers out on the track for their final times of the afternoon. Max Scavenger on his return. I've not seen him for a while. Max Scavenger then out of the pit lane and onto the circuit. The same as Zoomy FX then, who does begin his lap, and it's a very fast-paced lap. I believe you take the lap at like 8 full throttle at like 70% of the lap or something around here. It is a very fast circuit, and through the first few corners goes the Ferrari, looking pretty strong at the moment then, but of course we'll find out what kind of pace he's on as he heads towards the end of the Sector 1 line. But he's got 2 right-handers coming his way first of all, which he has to get right. The first right-hander was taken well, gets the line right into the next one as well, and Zoom is really on a roll here into the first sector. A tenth of a second improvement at the moment will get him about 2 places gained if he can maintain this gap then, but he's still got 2 sectors to come, and he's looking strong, but he's done 1 good sector, 2 more to go. What can Zoomy do then at the moment? To the end of the sector 2 he goes now. The Scuderia Ferrari, his teammate, up in P5. Of course, he wants to try and beat him. I'm not too sure if it's possible at the moment then. Into the second sector, he's found 2/10 of a second then on this lap at the moment. Zoomy is finding decent time in the Ferrari at the moment, and down towards the line in a moment. Has he found enough to gain some places here? It is absolutely looking likely. About 300th of a second then to get himself into P9, and only a slight bit more for P8. Here comes Zoomy then up towards the line. Will it be a few positions gained? He does gain 2 places. Nearly a tenth of a second improved there as well, and it is P8 for Zoomy, who makes 2 places up here in qualifying. Many drivers coming out on their outlaps now then for their final times of the day. We have 2 minutes and 45 seconds left of qualifying, and the timer is counting down very quickly indeed. Max Scavenger down by 400th of a second then in Sector 1 at the moment, which is such a shame. Formula Hugo, see you later, mate. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. How the first ever night race in MotoGP history. Very cool. I don't know a lot about MotoGP, but, motorbikes never really been anything I've been interested in. But of course, this was a MotoGP track, wasn't it? Before, of course, it was before Formula 1 raced here. I believe it was it 2022 or 2023 F1 came here? I don't remember now. Someone's telling me it was 2023, but I've completely forgot. I think it was 23. But I remember that first year, many tyres were going bang, weren't they? I remember Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes that year. But Max Scavenger then, P12, and didn't make much of an improvement on the last lap around, which is a shame. But as I mentioned, this is now the time where nearly everybody is out on a lap. I'm looking forward to this, ladies and gentlemen. Many drivers on their flying laps in a moment's time. Milk's out there through the first sector. He's up by 200ths at the minute and trying to defend his second place whilst also trying to take pole here. Can this Williams make an improvement? The first sector was up slightly. Oh, he has a bit of a snap, and Milk spins the rears around. He's got wing damage as well, and the Williams will not be improving today. It is second place or lower now here in the Grand Prix, and that will mark the end of Milk's qualifying session. Rounding it off in second place, the 1 minute 21.281. Will it be beaten? It really is looking like it will be at the moment. The gap between him and Samulto is absolutely nothing at the moment. And it really is looking like Milk might be at risk here of losing that front row of the grid as he tries to retire and does retire. Then that is Milk out of qualifying. Nova Piper down the main straight and in towards turn 1 with Malone just slightly ahead of him. Danny slightly ahead of that then. They're all making their way around. Let's see what Danny's first sector is looking like then. Usually very high up there. This might have been an outdated time for him. Let's see what the first sector tells us. 30 seconds then in the first sector, and it's a 10th of improvement at this moment in time. Not looking too bad. A 10th of a second right now would get him a place gained. Even maybe another place after that if you can find slightly more. P6 for Danny at the moment, but wants a little bit higher than that. Second row of the grid preferably. It's absolutely on the cards for him. Let's see what the second sector is looking like. The first with a 10th of a second improvement. Now the middle sector is not looking too bad, but let's see what it says. A 10th of a second still in the middle sector. So Danny's on a fairly decent lap here. At least he's finding time. But he has to maintain this form till the final few corners. It's Ferrari for life, the first driver in the 1 minute 20s this evening. That is a brilliant effort of a qualifying time. A 120.975 is MCL across the line for P6. Here comes Danny over the line for his final time of the day. Danny gets onto the second run of the grid with a 10th and a half improvement. Nova Piper over the line then will be taking P6 and no improvement there from him. Andy J. Price through the first sector down by 6.2 seconds here. Not looking like he's on much of an improvement. Mikey Boy is on an improvement, then half a 10th of a second in that middle sector, and throughout the lap as a whole, as the Haas driver has to get a good result this evening. He crosses the line. What's his qualifying time going to be at the end of it? Mikey Boy improves 5 places then. It is 5th place in the Haas. Great effort from him. Andy J. Price will not be improving. Matt Connor looks like he was up on time in the middle sector. Must have made a mistake because now he's not on a lap. Slowed down. And I believe that is it for your qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen. Ferrari for life in the McLaren on pole position ahead of Samulto in the Aston Martin. Second place. That is your front row of the grid going into round 5, the Qatar Grand Prix. Well, that is it for a great qualifying session. We're just waiting for Matt Connor now to get wheeled into the pit lane. And then we are complete. Well, here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Ferrari for life on pole position ahead of Samulto, second place. It is Milk third, with Malone 4, F1 Mikey Boy 5, Danny 6, P7 is Nova Piper, 8 MCL, 9 Sidemen, and 10 Andy J. Price. First F1 race at Qatar was 2021. Oh man, I've got that completely wrong. Of course it was 2021 now, think about it. I remember that now. That was very silly of me. Jay could hear my drink break as well. Oh no. Gotta stay hydrated, of course, though. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, intro coming up just now. Has dropped down 2 places since the start. Round the outside line goes Danny, who now goes for the race lead, but he's fighting back on Ferrari for life in a minute, and the Red Bull just about holding his position. And here for round 5 is going to win the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Malone wins here in Baku. Well, a great season so far, but 5 rounds in, and it is the Qatar Grand Prix. A brilliant season at the moment, and an even better qualifying session at the moment then, as round 5 takes us to the desert, ladies and gentlemen. A night race here in the World Racing Championship. A 3.3 mile circuit, 16 turns then across the entirety of it, and one DRS zone down the main straight only. Not many overtaking opportunities today, but a massively high-paced circuit. Here's the tyres then, the soft, the medium and the hard, as we always have. It is the C3 soft, C2 the medium, and the C1 as the hard compound tyre as we go into your formation lap, which actually hasn't got started yet. Normally we time it well. We haven't timed it well today, unfortunately. But the formation lap will be getting underway very, very soon. But before that gets underway, we're going to really, really quickly go into the Boss Property Rentals, ladies and gentlemen, of course, our proud sponsor here in the World Racing Championship. We're very proud to be sponsored by them, of course, as they offer luxury sea view Airbnbs for both short and long stays. This apartment that you can see is designed to keep the whole group comfortable, featuring stunning views across the sea and the local marina. It is ideally located. You'll be surrounded by vibrant bars, excellent restaurants and charming boutique shops. Just a short drive away as well, you'll find some of Pembrokeshire's most breathtaking coastline and beaches, perfect for days out and coastal adventures. Whether you're visiting as a couple, with a family or in a group, there's plenty to keep everyone entertained. Boss Property Rentals, ladies and gentlemen, our proud sponsor here in the World Racing Championship. Thank you very much to them. Formation lap then has begun here in Qatar, and we are going to be getting into it now. Hopefully a nice Grand Prix coming up. It is looking like it. We have 20 drivers joining us. A full grid this evening. Absolutely brilliant, of course. Love getting a full grid. Makes the racing action so much better. And Samulto, the man on pole today. From Milk 2, from Mikey Boy 3, Danny 4, Ferrari for Life in 5. I believe. Was it? So it was Ferrari for Life on pole, wasn't it? And then I think he had did he have a 5-place grid penalty to lose places then? That seems to be what has happened there. As Samulto now will be taking pole position here in the World Racing Championship. I don't know if he's done that before. To be honest, I think this is his first pole. I don't know, but to my knowledge, it's looking like his first one. And that is going to be a big weight on his shoulders, especially knowing that he's got TMS Milk behind him. We know what kind of pace this man holds, as well as F1 Mikey Boy. He moves up places. Mikey starts now on the second row of the grid. I mean, that's a great comeback in qualifying, isn't it? Getting a lot of places there, as well as Danny as well in 4. Ferrari for Life, of course, running in 5, took pole, but he has now got a chance at working his way through the pack in front of him. He's got 4 places to gain to get back where he earned in qualifying earlier on with that fastest time of the evening. But this Grand Prix soon to get underway. 20 drivers on the grid as we wait for the Mercedes at the back of Lotfi to line up and be the final driver in the grid spot. Here we go then. A very nice Grand Prix ahead of us here in Qatar. Under the lights, the cars look absolutely beautiful at certain tracks like this one. Of course, one DRS zone just down the main straight as well, so that is your prime overtaking opportunity down that main straight and potentially all the way down in towards turn 1. That's where we usually see it. The Mercedes then will line up on the grid and give us 20 drivers revving the engines up and ready to go with 5 lights ahead of the drivers here. Samulto taking pole from second place now. The lights out and we get away. It is Samulto in the lead then. Is Mikey going to get into P2? He has. Mikey up to second place. A great start from the drivers as Samulto leads very nicely indeed into turn 1. Mikey gets up to 2. Milk then fights with Danny in 3rd and 4. Milk down a place, I believe, here at the moment as Mikey Boy up to second place, and a great start from the Haas driver. Behind that then Sidemen and Nova Piper at the moment. It is P6 and P7 fighting through the right-hand side, as well as ahead of that, the McLaren just about getting through past Danny. It is Ferrari for Life gaining a place then on the race start. It is Sidemen into 6, Nova Piper 7 as Maloon looks up the inside of the McLaren here for an overtake. They are level pegging out of the corner, but Nova gets ahead there into 7th place. Maloon in 8 at the moment is going to he's going to have to wait his turn here on the backside of the McLaren, and he loses back end as well. As I've just been told, Max Scavenger around. Yes, Max down in P20 at the back of the grid. Max Scavenger having an awful start today and losing many places. Down 6 since the start then at the minute. We are 29 laps. Well, 29 laps ahead of us then. Samilto sats the fastest middle sector at the moment on this first lap of the Grand Prix. Leading very well indeed by 9/10 of a second. Ollie Southall as well down to P19. He's had an awful start then. 7 places lost since the start at the moment. But his teammate F1 Mikey Boy, never in doubt for him as he leads down in towards turn 1 now. Down the main straight, the DRS will not be activated this lap around. I think it will be the next lap. We will be picking up the DRS down the main straight. Then as Samilto will lead, Mikey 2, Milk in 3, Ferrari for Life 4, Danny 5 then in towards turn 1 with an Alpine of sidemen behind him. But nowhere near enough to make an overtake at the moment. It's Max Scavenger now, picks up a 10-second time penalty as well for speeding in the pit lane. The first time penalty today, and it was a speeding in the pit lane pen. 10-second then for the Williams of Max Scavenger. An awful start from him, and he's got a lot of making up to do this evening if he wants to gain the places back. Some really clean action and a start then from today as Romeo Blues trying to gain here on the kick Sauber as much as he can. Are you streaming in 1080p or 4K? I can see the flames coming from the back of the cars when they gear down. Oh my god. There is one thing. I don't know if this is what you're talking about. It might be a completely different thing you're talking about. But on my PC, there's some weird blurry thing behind all of the cars. I'm not too sure how to get rid of it. But Ferrari for Life gaining on the backside of Milk here. Is this going to be an overtake? He's going to have a look. He's going to have a look up the inside, but the DRS is keeping the Williams in front. Ferrari for Life makes a lunge though, and now tries it on the Williams. Is he going to get through here, through the first few corners? Has to hang back. Max Scavenger now as well has spun around, ladies and gentlemen, at the back. As Ferrari for Life then running in 4, cannot make that overtake just yet on Milk. As Milk keeping himself in front. We are 3 laps in at 29. Samilto leading by 7/10 of a second. Mikey Boy's had a good start, of course, gaining 1 place. Milk getting dropped down to 3rd and losing 1 there. Ferrari for Life in 4. We've moved down the grid and some good action so far in the very early stages. It's really nice to see as Luco's in 16 has got Romeo Blues in front of him, and they all head one by one through the middle sector. And it's been a neat start. There's a few drivers that have made mistakes, of course, but nothing too drastic. And the racing standards in this are brilliant. It's the way its exhaust flames look great. Good stuff. Can you show us tyres? Of course I can, mate. Tyres on your screen then. At the moment, it is a very mixed strategy for all of the drivers here. Some of the mediums, some of the hards, and actually a few on the softs as well. Mikey started on the softs here. But to the guys that are in the chat and see all of the races throughout the week in WRC, which league would you say has got the quickest drivers and the best racing standards? Is it this one, or is there another one that's better than this? You'll have to let me know. Thursday? Oh man. I'll have to take a look. Saturday. Oh, Romeo Blues. That does not look good. He's beached on the side of the gravel here. Unfortunately, he brings himself back on. That did not look ideal at all then, did it? And now he's down to P19. As Max Scavenger still running at the back with a 10-second time penalty to his name as well. He's really struggling today in the Williams. His teammates doing much better. Milk in 3rd. What's going on with the Saturday, guys, then? Is the Saturday not going too good? Or it doesn't seem it by the message. Yeah, Mark, I agree. the softs won't do too long. But, you know, Mikey's normally quite good with his tyres. However, he might just get an overtake here. Up the inside line. Milk gets back through past Mikey Boy. And 4 laps in, are his tyres starting to fall off already in the heat that we get here in Qatar? Or, you know, is that just a bit of a fluke there? But we'll see. We'll see what's going on at the minute. But Mikey has just lost a place, which is the most important part. But only 5 laps in at 29, and Samulto still leading now. The gap's 1.1 seconds then ahead of Milk at the moment, and he really does hold a decent advantage now. Milk in second place, of course gaining a place on Mikey Boy a moment to go. Behind that is Ferrari for Life as well, the reigning world champion, and doing what he can to gain and get on the podium potentially for the end of this race. Still a long way to go though, as Sidemen picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. That's 2 drivers now with time penalties this afternoon. Oh, very wide there for the Ferrari of Meloon, I believe that was, as he brings himself back on. Doesn't seem to make too much of a difference to his race at the moment as the drivers head round the final corner. We're going to get some DRS down here, then this is going to be an overtake between some of them. I think someone's in the pit lane as well. Yes, F1 Mikey Boy is hard. Sorry, my apologies. His softs have run out pretty much. Not grippy enough anymore. He goes into the pit lane. It's looking like the hards for him then. The hard compound for F1 Mikey Boy as he comes out of the pit lane. And now he's going to try and run them as long as he possibly can. 6 laps in now then. Yellow flags through the first corner, and Lucas has gone around in P16 now. Samulto picks up a penalty as well as Blake. Penalties are starting to pile in now, but it's not looking good for Samulto with a penalty. He's the leader of the Grand Prix. You do not want a penalty as the leader, especially when you haven't got a gap to facilitate for it. Not ideal at the minute for the Aston Martin. He will need to gain a few gain some time. So we'll see. We'll see if he can or not. Still a long way to go, so no point in judging just yet. As Ferrari for Life with a 3-second penalty. And Qatar, one of the tracks where it, you know, over the course of 29 laps, it can be hard not to pick up 3 warnings. You're heading so quick around these corners that, you know, you take it at the wrong angle, and the next corner's completely messed up. You go off wide, and that's a warning straight away. So it's easily done, and that is why today we probably are going to see a lot more than usual. Think of doing comms for F1 and F2 only to race. Yeah, Mark, to be fair, racing F1's good, but I used to race F2. F2 is a lot more fun, in my opinion. It really is. They're like little go-karts, F2 cars are. They're a lot more fun to battle and race with, in my opinion. They're really fun. But then once you've been racing F2s for a bit, you hop back in an F1 car and the speed difference is crazy. It really is. The racing on Friday is brilliant. I'm assuming Fridays is the F2 then. Is that what that is? Honestly, when I'm not busy, I'd love to get involved in that, to be fair. I really, really would. I've got a wheel, but I just don't get it used. So if there's any space at some point, I'd love to race. Just need to get my wheel out and get some use out of it. It's been a while. It's probably a bit dusty now. But we are 7 laps in, and everybody's still fairly close with each other at the minute. Samulto is still your leader, however the gap's only 0.6 of a second now. Milk's really bringing these hard compound tyres in now, and he's gaining on the backside of the Aston Martin. This is going to be DRS for him. It is DRS range, however he might just be a little bit too far back here to actually make an overtake. He does gain behind him, looks for that gap up the inside, but there isn't enough room at the minute for him to get through. So Milk does wait behind at the minute. There's a few pit stops coming in as well. We have Lotfi and Ferrari for Life, both drivers in the pit lane now, both going on for, I believe, new hard compound tyres for both. It is. as they will come out and potentially go on them till the end of the race now. We'll see what the drivers are able to do as Ferrari for Life and F1 Mikey Boy fly through past the pit lane and come out ahead. But Mikey down in 15, and if you are an F1 Mikey Boy fan, do not worry. He's down in 15 after an early pit stop. Everybody in front of him hasn't been in yet, so once we get the pit stops coming in, then we are going to see what his true position is. Mikey was near the front of the grid earlier, near the front of the pack, so it's going to be interesting to see when those actual pit stops come in and scheduled pit stops for the drivers. Then we are really going to see where everyone's real positions are. Nova Piper with a 3-second penalty now. Another penalty then for the drivers. Is Samulto hugging the pit wall. Milk is now a second behind. He is within DRS range, which will get him back into the DRS, but much further behind this time. Lost out a lot more with 20 laps remaining. Sidemen now makes his pit stop. As look at this then, MCL gaining on Andy J. Price here. Which way is he going to go? He goes to the outside line at the very end. He tries to go around the outside here. Can he get through past the Aston Martin? He just doesn't have the speed to get through. Now looks for the inside. Is he going to get ahead? Oh, very close. Very close indeed. Not enough to get through. And Andy J. Price managing to keep himself ahead here. Nova Piper running in 5. Then he's got the Aston Martin behind him, mounting the pressure on. Very much so at the minute, but here comes the Aston looking for an overtake round the outside line. Can Andy J. Price make this overtake? Can he get through past Nova Piper here? It is looking like it. He's done it into 5th. Then a snap there for Nova as well. He's got MCL on his rears. And MCL, of course, one of the most consistent drivers here. And I'm sure he is going to have the capabilities of overtaking Nova Piper here. We are 9 laps in at 29 laps, 20 remaining racing laps in this Grand Prix. And look at the action from the middle pack at the minute. You cannot get better than this. This is where it's at in the World Racing Championship. Zumi runs in 9, then Humboldt's ahead of that. And MCL just ahead of that in P7. But lots of action. And back up to the front. Still not enough. Samulto Milk cannot get through past Samulto or even get close enough to him for an overtake here. 7/10 of a second is the gap. It's not good enough at the minute. As we've got a yellow flag. Max Scavenger has spun the rears. We see him go round again in this Grand Prix. It's P20 for Max as he's now back of the grid and gets overtaken by the leading drivers. Gets lapped now by the top 3. That must be a hard pill to swallow for him as he'll get back on the circuit, but now being lapped by the top 3 drivers this evening. There's Meloon in P4. It is Andy J. Price in 5. And look at the action from behind. Look at how close everybody's running then through the middle sector. But I'm eyeing this up then because it looks like Humboldt. He ain't too far away from MCL here, and with the dose of DRS, it's looking like we might see some overtakes. Max Scavenger retires in the pit lane. A few drivers now enter the pit lane as well. Meloon and Nova Piper both go in. They're both on the medium compound, so it'll be the hards they go on to now. Here comes Humboldt on MCL. Can't do it, but the DRS really helped him get in and close there. As unfortunately Max Scavenger is out of tonight's Grand Prix. And that will round off his race. Sideman gets ahead of the 2 pit stop drivers at the minute of Meloon, Nova Piper, and now McLaren has the Williams of Max Scavenger has come out of the pit lane, but of course he has retired now, so that will be an AI driver in the car. as Ferrari for Life, of course, has made a pit stop. That is why he's down in P13 as well as F1 Mikey Boy and a few others behind them. But Mikey is the leading driver of the pit stop drivers at the minute, if that makes sense to everybody. So he's down in 12, but everybody in front of him still are yet to pit. And it's going to be interesting, really, to see where he can come out. Milk gets ahead of Samulto into turn 1. We've been waiting for this for so long, but is Samulto going to be able to regain it? He goes round the outside line. This will be a brilliant overtake if he can make it stick. He does make it stick. Through goes the Aston Martin, but the Williams trying to fight back. He sees the inside line. He takes the inside line. Milk tries to go back through as they are level pegging through the middle sector, through the first sector into the middle sector. Milk now gets hung out to dry, and Samulto leads the Qatar Grand Prix. Wow. Some great action at the minute. For Samulto ahead then, he's just about kept Milk at bay here, who did get through for a brief moment in time. As F1 Mikey Boy now fighting with the drivers that haven't made pit stops yet. Mikey gets into P11. Blake then drops down to 12 and loses a place as they're all battling here. Ollie Southall picks up a time penalty as well. Here comes Ferrari for Life then, pushing that Red Bull off the track, and Ferrari gets into P12. It's F1 Mikey Boy in 11, and Blake now will lose a place in P13. Now here we go. Pit stop for Samulto, ladies and gentlemen. Pit stop for the leading driver. The medium compound will come off. It'll be the hard tyres on. Now, where will he come out? Where's he going to come out in comparison to Mikey Boy? Mikey currently running in P11, then round the final corner. Is he going to make an overtake here on Samulto? It's looking like Samulto's going to get out before him, but it's going to be mega close. It is going to be insanely close. Look how close this is getting then. The Aston Martin's out of the pit lane. Mikey Boy is right behind him into turn 1. Look at the closing speed. He gets punted off wide slightly, loses a bit of grip. Mikey can't get ahead of the Aston Martin, and Samulto has just about got in front there. Great work from him, but I don't think Mikey's going to be done yet. Of course, the tyre difference will be 7 laps old, so as soon as Samulto's get up to temperature in a moment, then I think he'll be gone. I really do, and that is really not ideal for Mikey. He will not want that to happen at all, but it's just the way it goes sometimes. He's lost out as Lockfeeder with 3-second time penalty. Well, we go on to the 14th lap of 29, and the laps are ticking by quite nicely. Around half race distance now in the Grand Prix. Milk as your leader. He's got 3.4 seconds to Danny. Milk will go in the pit lane at some point, but he's on the hards, of course, as well as many drivers behind him. He's going to try and run these as long as possible, and you know, as long as they're gripping to the ground, he's going to continue on them, of course. So we'll see how long that will be. Andy J. Price running in P3 at the minute in the medium compound tyres. They are really going to be worn out now. Everybody that's been on them with him have pitted now. He's the only medium runner left that hasn't pitted. So when is he going to do it? He's running in third at the minute, and a great drive, but when he makes that pit stop, he will lose some places, I believe, to the guys that have made some pit stops. So it's going to be intriguing to see. Won't be long before he gets there, and then we'll see if he goes in the pit lane or not. But Milk as your leader still. And like I mentioned, he's going to run this as long as he can. So he's got quite a few laps now of clean air. Just push the car as much as he can out there. And, you know, gain as much time as possible. Romeo Blues down in P19 at the back of the grid at the minute, quite a while behind Blake. Blake and Romeo quite far back the rest of the pack at the moment. It's Ferrari for Life with a 3-second time penalty, and that is not ideal for him. It's Andy J. Price, the Kick Sauber. Andy J. Price and the Kick Sauber in the pit lane now. Many drivers making their way down the main straight, and potentially some overtakes coming your way here then, as the DRS will be activated for the drivers. Not enough for any overtakes, but getting massively closer in towards turn 1. Lap 15 of 29 then, and we have lost one driver, that's really decent going. In the Sunday one-off race we lost quite a lot, so this is a lot better, of course. Humboldt with a 3-second time penalty here, and speaking of penalties, we're getting quite a lot, so we might as well run through them. Many have got 3. There's a few that have got 6. That's the biggest at the minute. 3 for Humboldt, as well as Ollie Southall, Sidemen, Nova Piper, Hoare and Lotfi, all with 3 seconds of penalties. Everybody else that has a penalty has got a 6. That is Samilto, Fry for Life, and Blake. As Mikey Boy makes an overtake here. Look at this in towards turn 1. That was some wing damage as well there. You can see a bit of bodywork coming off of that McLaren. He's still got through, but he paid the price of his front wing. Through goes Ferrari for Life. Ollie Southall will drop down to P9, and the Haas cars now sandwich in the McLaren. Well, we look behind, and the Kick Sauber fighting with Nova Piper here. 0.3 of a second, the gap. Not too much between them. If you guys are still in the chat then, let's give us a race prediction. Who do we think is going to be the winning driver today? We've got a pit stop coming in for Danny, Humboldt as well. We have got the first stops for the hard runners. As Ollie Southall is going to be the winner, apparently. Drivers coming out of the pit lane then. Danny and Humboldt now both on brand new medium compounds as they exit the pit lane. But after all of the pit stops then, at the minute, Mikey Boy's in P5. He pitted much earlier than everybody else though, so his tyres now in this part of the race are going to be getting older. In front of him, he's still got 3 drivers that have not made pit stops. There's Samilto, of course, ahead of that. Well, here we go then. This is important now. We've got Milk in the pit lane. In the Williams, his 17-lap-old hards have had enough, and he goes on to the mediums now until the end, potentially. MCL now takes the Grand Prix lead in the Alpine then. Sidemen with a 3-second time penalty as well. But we have MCL as your leader, Samilto 2. It is Milk in 3rd, then Zumi 4. Many pit stops coming in for the hard runners now. Finally, pit stops coming in. Mikey Boy's in again then. His 12-lap-old hards are coming off. He's now on the hards till the end. This is a bit of a different strategy than what I was anticipating. Fry for Life in there as well as Zumi. We've had an unexpected pit stop for Fry for Life and F1 Mikey Boy, who both come in for new hard compounds then as they exit the pit lane. And we look up to the front, 18 laps into 29. MCL is your leader, Samilto 2, Danny 3. Matt Connor now with the penalty as well, and penalties really adding up across the track at the moment. Hopefully you guys in the chat are enjoying the action so far. Quite a fun WRC race at the minute. A lot of action that's been going on then throughout the entirety of it at the minute. And Humboldt then running in P11. He's got Nova Piper in front of him, and only 10 laps remaining in this Grand Prix then. It's gone very quickly, hasn't it? It really, really has. Lap 19 of 29 has come round fast. And now we are really getting into the latter stages of the Grand Prix now. The remaining 10 laps of racing begins. MCL as your leader then in towards the first few corners. Blake with a 3-second penalty as well now. As soon as I go off them, Humboldt and Nova Piper have a bit of a battle. Humboldt into P10 as Nova drops a place down to 11. What do people think of Gasly's crash? Oh, mate, it was insane. It was insane. It's crazy that things like that can happen, and people are just absolutely okay now in Formula One. But wow, you know, on the onboard, no, on the world feed when it came up, I saw him mounting the barrier, and I was like, "What the hell is going on here?" And then it showed the replay, and he flipped. I never knew he flipped. I was shocked. I was really shocked, but. It is good to know that, you know, people are all good and safe in modern Formula One cars. There's Nova Piper with a 3-second penalty. Into the pit lane now for MCL. Samilto continues on. Milk now with a penalty as well. And across the line for Danny. He will get second place now ahead of MCL in the pit lane for the remaining 9 laps now of racing. Milk gets into third. MCL in the pits. Now a long list of drivers are going to be overtaking him now. There's Malone, possibly for an overtake here on Sidemen. Sidemen darts to the right now to try and avoid the overtake from happening, but sending it goes Malone into turn 1. The Ferrari's just about hanging in the balance here up the inside lines. Can he get through? He can get through, but how long can he hold it for? As the Alpine is going to try and fight back. Sidemen level pegging with him into the right-hand side, but not enough car then to get in front. Not enough space, and it's going to be Malone holding fourth. Look at this then, the line of 4 drivers making their way through towards the end of Sector 2. We are lap 20 of 29, soon to go on to lap 21 with Samilto leading your Grand Prix at the minute. But like I said, a nice run of 4 drivers here, led by Malone in 4, Sidemen's in 5, Andy J. Price 6, and that is your, sorry, and then the Kick Sauer behind that in P7. But the Ferrari, Malone, leading this little bit of a battle all the way down into the pit lane goes Sidemen. So his 11-lap-old hards have had enough, and he will be going on to it's got to be the mediums till the end from now, isn't it? 8 laps on the mediums surely is going to be possible. Or is he going to go hards? It's hards, okay. Hard compound till the end then, fair enough. Oh, overtaking towards turn 1. Zumi gets ahead of that one. Then MCL is now up the inside line in the Alpine. And behind that, Nova Piper has to drop back. But in the middle of them both is MCL. Zumi gets ahead and leads that little battle at the moment as Malone with a time penalty. Penalties coming in so often now as Andy J. Price and Malone now are fighting. Malone gets pushed slightly wide as Andy puts his car up the inside line. Into 4th place goes the Aston Martin. Bearing in mind he hasn't got a time penalty either. He's been driving really well at the minute, and without a time penalty he will not be gaining any places as of yet. But if he can gain time on Milk, then he absolutely will be getting places. Milk with only a 3-second time penalty as of now, so Andy J. Price's 12-second gap is not good enough at all. As here is Milk up the inside line. Goes the Williams then into second place. Ahead of Danny, and Milk up a place. Absolutely brilliant. Some position changes here. MCL and Zumi then in P7 and P8 at the moment are having a really nice battle as yellow flag's flown, and Ferrari for Life then retires from the session. That is a full safety car. Romeo Blues with a penalty. But ladies and gentlemen, a full safety car is shown here on the remaining few laps of the Grand Prix tonight. This changes it up quite a bit. A few drivers have just made pit stops, unluckily. And now, safety car is out. Samulto is your leader. Everybody will be bunched up for the final few laps. And we should get a good amount of action now until the checkered flag. This is going to be brilliant. Samulto will lead behind the safety car. Milk will be 2, Danny 3. But it might change around because I believe, by the looks of it, surely we're going to get pit stops from everybody coming in now then. Samulto comes in the pits for brand new tyres. Milk comes in now, as well as Danny. As Hall with a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. But yeah, this is big for Malone, says Jay, absolutely. As we get pit stops coming in then, lots of them. Malone is going to probably go in as well, surely. He does go in. Andy J. Price is going to continue on the 7-lap hold hards. Is he going to gain any places here after not going into the pit lane? He does. Andy J. Price to 2. Well, many pit stops coming in. Mikey's in as well. 5-lap hold hards. He goes onto the mediums till the end and gets his car changed and sorted and ready for the remaining few laps. A quick reminder, we only have 6 laps of racing left of this Grand Prix. 6 more remaining laps, and we're going to get about 2 or 3 of them behind the safety car, so it's looking like 3 laps of racing then after the safety car goes away until the end of the Grand Prix. Well, if you're just joining us, everybody, we have lost the reigning world champion, Ferrari for Life, after retiring from the session. Now a safety car has came out because of that, and Samulto ends up being your leader behind the safety car. The 2 Aston Martins running 1 and 2. Could be an Aston Martin 1-2 here. Lap 24 or 29 now, as we have a pit stop for Nova Piper. He goes in a bit later than everybody else then, and comes out on the softs. We've been told by Madmar, anyone goes softs, going to lose a lot of places. And we've got some drivers just doing that. Milk goes on the softs till the end, as well as Maloon and Zumi. Can they make them work? I'm more interested in seeing Milk make it work here, as of course he is higher up on the grid. Would be cool to see a Milk win. Been a long time since we've seen that. And, you know, I want to get him in the interview room, to say the truth. I want to get him in there. It's been a long little while. But always good to have him back in the interview room. So hopefully won't be long before he's back. Might even be today. However, he does have a time penalty. And I've got to say, Danny, MCL and Andy J. Price, the three drivers around him, all have not got a time penalty to their name. That is a worrying sight for somebody with a penalty, especially just as the safety car is going to restart. So it might all, you know, go completely in the bin for Milk here, because he has got a time penalty. And the same with Samilton as well. If you can't pull away in the remaining few laps, he's going to lose it to Andy J. Price. You know, he's got a 6-second penalty as well. I've only just realised. Now this gets real now. This is very real. Andy J. Price could be on for a Grand Prix win here in WRC. Now that is a story, isn't it? Could this Aston Martin take it from his teammate because of his penalties? That'd be a big story. It really would. There's 2 drive-through penalties at the bottom of the grid for Hora and Romeo Blues. As a lot of penalties as well. But like I mentioned earlier on, I explained it, of course, with the track being so fast, you know, over the course of the laps, it is not as easy as you'd think it is to keep the car, you know, within the white lines for that many laps. So you can understand it on the strict track limits, but maybe this lap we go racing then. Give us lap 26 racing, 27, 28 and 29, or are we going to have one more lap behind the safety car? There is still 2 drivers that haven't caught up properly, but should both be there by the end of the lap. Lotfi with a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Nova Piper, I believe that was. Will be his first win too. Says Jay. Yep, absolutely. Oh, Mad Mark, he does give a good point, to be fair. He really does. Andy J. Price on the 10-lap old hard. He stayed out, of course. One of the ones that didn't make a pit stop today. That's why he gains such places, and that's why he is where he is. It's a shame to see that is. It not looking like Andy's going to be able to take it then, because he's got some drivers behind him, one especially on the softs, a few on the mediums as well, and they're brand new. He's going to struggle here, but the Grand Prix is about to get underway again and racing to give us about 4 laps of racing action here in Qatar. The safety car runs off into the distance then, and we prepare for 4 final laps of racing. Here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. The drivers towards the line. Who's going to be the leader in towards turn 1? We're not quite sure at the moment, but we're going to find out in a moment's time. Samilton leads then down in towards turn 1. A 3 abreast in towards the first corner though, as Milk now gets into the Grand Prix lead ahead of Andy J. Price, who's being swallowed up now by Danny. Danny gets too much curb, loses the rears now as the Aston Martin will be able to fly back through. But not so long as Danny gets the rears back on track. Is he going to be able to hold it out ahead of the Aston Martin? Now he is, as now MCL is on the scene. MCL in 4th place at the moment, trying to get through. He's got through past Andy J. Price, who is losing places. Luco's now with a 3-second penalty on the Grand Prix restart, as he loses places as well, as you can see down the back of the grid then, losing countless places here. Homeboard on the backside of Maloon then, through the middle sector at the moment. There's Nova Piper with a 3-second penalty too. The penalties are really racking up this evening. There's the first lap nearly over already, and Samilton ahead by 0.3 of a second over Milk. Danny's behind, and I've got to say, as it stands, Danny will be on pole position, will be on that pole position winning place of P1 if it finishes like this, ladies and gentlemen. He's doing a pretty good job. 0.5 of a second behind. DRS now enabled as well. With MCL behind that in 4, Andy J. Price in 5, and he might just get overtaken by Humboldt here. Then he is gaining as much as he can. Looks for him up the inside line. Now the outside as he goes a different way. Nearly 3 abreast in towards turn 1, and the kick Sauber of Humboldt does get ahead of Andy J. Price. As up to the front, Milk has made an overtake on Samulto here. The Williams through in these soft compound tyres, but are they going to work then for the remaining few laps of this race? I'm not entirely sure. We've only got a few laps of racing now. It's gone really, really quickly, this race has, and fastest first sector for Milk now. As Nova Piper in 12 and Ollie Southall looks for the inside here. Is this going to be an overtake as he gets mega close to this McLaren? Now tries to regain it, but Nova Piper's just about took it from him, and through he goes. We look ahead of that as well, and Ollie Southall running wide off the side of the track, but does get into P13 on lap 27 of 29. Now ahead in P13. Nova Piper in 12s. Matt Connor with a 3-second now. And looking up to the front of the pack, where Milk is your leader on the 4-lap-old soft compound. Won't be as bad as their age are, because of course he was heading slowly behind the safety car, wasn't pushing the tyres, which they're designed to do. So they won't be as bad as you assume they were, or they would be. But Andy J. Price now gets swarmed and overtaken again as F1 Mikey Boy gets a place on him. And we are on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix here then, where Danny is on for a Grand Prix win. Samulto picks up another time penalty. He has now got 9 seconds of pens, which is such a shame. Sidemen with penalty as well. And they're really racking up in the final stages. Everybody's, seeming to get them at the end. As Blake, I believe, is losing loads of places. Or Nova Piper here. Nova Piper just lost out many times. Yellow flag as he's heading slowly. Down to P16 goes Nova. As we look for the leading drivers, ladies and gentlemen. And the penultimate lap was great, but I'm sure the final lap's going to be even better. The final lap showdown of the 5th round of the season here in Qatar for the World Racing Championship. Milk leads then from Samulto, second place, with a huge amount of penalties to his name at the minute of 12 from Milk. A lot of penalties. Danny, without a same time penalty at the moment, in second place, is now Danny, as he's through past Samulto. I'm not entirely sure what's just happened there. Wing damage for Samulto too. Danny into P2 now. I was reading the Twitch chat. Danny goes ahead into second place. And now he is absolutely on for a Grand Prix win. This is the final lap, and if Milk can gain 2 seconds, then he is going to take that win on the softs. But at the minute, it's looking like Danny might just about be there to be able to take it. It's going to be mega close towards the line then, ladies and gentlemen. The gap 1.2 seconds at the minute. It is lap 29 of 29, and we are now exiting the second sector and into the final third for the final time today. Is it going to be Milk today, or is it going to be Danny? More than likely Danny is going to take this win now. 2 seconds gained in this amount of time is absolutely not happening. And Danny, who's been just lurking in the background this whole race, not picked up a single time penalty. Milk heads up towards the line then. He will cross the line to take the win provisionally, but Danny crosses the line to take it on penalties. Danny wins the Qatar Grand Prix. Milk into second place as they cross the line for the rest of the drivers. It is Milk 2 and MCL with a final spot on the podium. Zumi takes 4, F1 Mikey Boy 5, Humboldt 6, Maloon 7, Andy J. Price 8, Ollie Southall 9, Lucas 10, Samulto 11, Matt Connor 12, Sidemen 13, Nova Piper 14, Blake 15, 16 is Lotfi, Hall 17, and Romeo Blues in 18. Sorry, the drivers have never normally crossed the line that quick here in the World Racing Championship. But what an ending. What an ending. Romeo Blues last at the end of that. Samulto loses out massively because of the penalties. But this is it. That's the way it goes. Time penalties can mess you up completely. And these are your finishing results then. The race winner, Danny, fastest lap for Milk. Driver of the day, Ollie Southall, with most overtakes going to him as well. And the cleanest driver is MCL. Here's your finishing results then. Top 3, Danny, Milk and MCL. We speak to MCL quite often, and it's looking like we're going to get to speak to him in the interview room once again. Let me set it up for you guys. What a race. Hello. Hello, mate. 2 seconds while I get the audio sorted. Right, I think we are good. Okay, so at the end of that, taking 3rd place. Seems like we're talking to you quite a lot in here now, mate. And getting some good results. But what's your thoughts on tonight's race?
Yeah, I was dead slow. I've been watching Arsenal the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, so I was just moseying along, and then the safety car come out, and I thought I better race it. So yeah, delighted to get a podium. I wasn't particularly fast on this track, but delighted for the podium.
Did you make any last-minute changes with the strategy or pit stops or anything like that, or was it a straight road?
No, I didn't. I didn't box when the last safety car come out. I just stayed out. I went 20 laps on the hards, so my mediums were quite fresh. So I decided to stay out.
Well, it seems like we get to speak to you quite a lot more now in here. It really, really does. Coming into this, is Qatar, is it one of your good tracks, or are you not bothered?
It's probably my worst track.
Is it?
Yeah, but it is what it is. I hate it. It's so boring.
Well, Miami next. Is that any better?
Yeah, I like Miami. It's good fun. Dynamic weather. We should see maybe a bit of rain. It's always safety car, late safety cars. So yeah, should be good.
Good stuff. Thanks for your time, mate, and great result once again.
Thank you for the comms, Jack. Well done to the boys ahead. Take it easy.
You too. Right, we will go with Danny then. Race winner. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, mate. Good to speak to you. Race winning then. What's your take on the race tonight?
Um, yeah, that was a sweaty race, but yeah, it was really good. I drove really well. I dropped out of the DRS on the first few laps, but got back into the train up front. Undercut on Milk was the right decision, I think, and yeah, I had a moment on this when I came out the pits with the safety car getting in front of MCL, which
Yeah.
was critical to stay in the 3 seconds of Milk, because there would have been too many cars to overtake.
Did you make any last minute changes with the strategy, or was that pretty clear all the way through?
What's that with the one stop
Yeah.
or starting on? Uh, yeah, I don't know. I watched a Yarda Watt me a YouTube video before the race, and he did a one stop, so
Fair enough.
I just gave it a go.
Yeah. Well, it seems to have worked. I looked at the championship standings. I believe you're leading by quite a bit, aren't you? If I'm correct in saying.
Yeah, I think so. Mikey and Ferrari's DNS in Silverstone were quite handy. So yeah.
Yeah, looking at it, the gap's quite big, and I think we would have gained a few as well on this. So going into the kind of second half of the season, do you think you fancy chances for that World Championship now? Is it becoming a little bit more real potentially?
Yeah, I hope so. I think this is 3 wins in a row which is
Yeah.
a nice feeling. So yeah, just keep it going forward.
Good stuff,
Hopefully.
mate. Good stuff. Thanks for your time. Great result again. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well done to the Sam, MCL, and Milk as well. I don't know if Sam got the podium in the end after his spin, but yeah.
It was you P1, Milk got second, and MCL third, I think.
All right. Well, yeah. Well done to all three anyway.
Good stuff. Thanks, mate.
Thank you. Bye.
Bear with me, guys. Just going to see if Milk wants an interview, and then we will get off. I've not had an interview with him for a while, so we'll see. Oh, there we go. Hello. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hold on.
Are you there?
Hold on. Let me turn up the mic volume.
No worries.
Alright, now
Is everything good?
hello?
Hello.
Yeah, okay. Fine.
Okay. We're all ready, yeah?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Good stuff. It's been a while, mate, since we've got to speak to you. But second place at the end, is that a result you're happy with, or were you even expecting to take second today?
I was honestly expecting a win because I was catching up to Samuel before the safety car after I overtook Danny. So I was like, I had the pace to create that 3-second gap to Danny, and then
Yeah.
my teammate just caused the safety car. But that's all good. That's all good.
Well,
that's all good.
You say you were expecting the win. Is there anything you would have done, you would have tried to do differently on your end to maybe take it, if you got the chance to do it again?
Not get a 3-second penalty and not to push so hard, catching up to Danny, I guess. That's pretty much what caused me to get my 3-second, and I'm kind of frustrated about it.
Yeah. Well, we've got Miami next. Are you better at Miami than you are in Qatar, or what's that track kind of for you?
Oh, yeah, that's a lot better.
Is it?
That's a lot better for me.
Good stuff.
Oh, we've had like three Miami Grand Prix for WRC in the past week, including the social race.
Yeah. A lot of practice then. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of practice. Everyone's got practice for the race. So, yeah, can't wait to do that.
Good stuff. I'm looking forward to see you there, mate. Great results. And
also,
go on.
I was also looking forward to have another battle with Mikey again.
Yeah.
Because we had a good battle for the Thursday league, so I'm willing to do that again. But yeah, that's all I gotta say.
Good stuff. I'm glad to hear it. Good result, mate. Well done. And maybe we'll speak to you next week, potentially.
Yeah, potentially. Good commentary.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening, mate. See ya.
Have a nice day. You too.
Right then, ladies and gentlemen, that is it from me for the World Racing Championship. Round 5 has concluded here. Thanks for joining me. Have a very nice evening and good night to you all.